Hi guys, welcome to the final episode of GAZ TIGER construction. Today, mainly final assembly of all vehicle components and of course weathering. Taking into account my experience in this subject, I can say that even advanced the weathering. After pasting a few chassis elements, I started to work with glazing. I cut out the elements and prepared them for painting. I decided to paint the vehicle windows with two colors from the translucent paints palette. Tamiya X19 Smoke from the outside and X23 Clear Blue from the inside. Then I took care of the roof hatch. I applied decals using microscale liquids. As I already mentioned, the decals from the set are very resistant to the microsol liquids, so you have to apply it several times to make the decals fit the element shape. I painted the lamp's interiors with a Molotov marker and then assembled the roof hatch. I started to mount the windows using ultra glue. The front door windows were properly masked before gluing. Before pasting the side windows, I painted the rims with black liner. It's time for the windshields. As the vehicle has wipers, I decided to mask the windows from getting dirty by tracing the appropriate shape. Then, with a precise brush, I painted the tools and tow rope mounts on the vehicle's sides. I also painted the lights with transparent orange and airbrushing the previously masked front door windows and the inner parts of the rear doors. After drying, I assembled all door elements and started to make the windows more dirty. For this I used a heavily diluted XF57 buff paint. As it turned out later, it was not the best choice. I'm not talking about the color here, but the type of paint. Next time I will use oil paints, as these effects are much more controllable. The final effect may not be worst, but I know that it can be better. Before painting the front bumper, I had to dismantle the winch for a while. Thanks to the fact that it was glued in with ultra glue, it was done without any casualties. I masked what I needed and started painting. I used paints from Tiger Camouflage. A link to the camouflage painting episode with all the paints used is now at the top of the screen. Trying to reproduce the exact pattern of the Tiger's bonnet, it was time to assemble the chassis with the vehicle hood. I glued in the headlights and remounted the winch. By the way, you may have noticed that the image has improved slightly. I've recently upgraded my camera by buying a better lens. Unfortunately, sometimes I still have problems with focus, as in this case. After painting the bumper, I pasted the turn signals and mounted the plates. After assembling the two main parts of the vehicle, I was finally able to glue the side covers that are part of the vehicle's body. While checking the real Tiger's photos, I noticed that this element was fused with the body, so the gap visible on my model was rather unacceptable. I decided to wait for the glue to set well, and in the meantime I made the tires worn a bit using a coarse file. Tamiya putty dissolves very well in Mr. Leveling Thinner. By diluting it properly, it can be applied using a thin needle. With appropriate dilution, we can quite accurately fill all the gaps. I left the putty to dry properly and went on to pasting the headlight lenses. With a dry brush and a bit of steel paint, I treated the inner parts of the Tiger's door a little. After the putty had dried, I sanded the joints thoroughly and started painting. In my opinion, the effect is very good and worth your time. I decided to chip the side covers and the front bumper a bit. Using a piece of sponge, I applied small spots by gently tapping the paint. Quick and very effective chipping, and if you don't go too far, it's also very good looking. I think it's okay in my case. Then I got into what can be called weathering pre-shading. With a mixture of two paints, I decided to slightly dust the model in its lower parts. It will be a good base for the next stages of weathering, and the delicately applied paint mist will give the effect of a dry, sand-dusty model. After these treatments, I covered the model with a semi-matte varnish again and started to prepare the oil paints. I got a few Abteilung 502 paint colors. For this particular model I used three colors that you can see on the screen. I left the paints for about an hour on a cardboard that absorbed a lot of oil during this time. Thanks to this, the paints will not shine so much, it will simply be more matte, and that was the case. As thinner for oils, I used White Spirit from AK Interactive. By mixing neutral grey and earth, I got something similar to the previously used buff color. I treated the tires with this mix and then wiped it with a stick soaked in thinner. The spare wheel was supposed to be used, but a bit cleaner than the rest. Then, using the burnt umber color significantly diluted with White Spirit, I obtained a wash consistency, and using the pin wash technique, I applied the mixture to the model. I tried to apply it to all the nooks and crannies and small parts of the vehicle. After a while, I started cleaning with White Spirit. Next stage, rainmarks. These are supposed to be the natural looking effects that remain on dusty surfaces after rain. Significantly diluted color mix from the oils palette and very gentle vertical brush strokes. From the bottom and in the wheel arches, the model at this stage will be just slightly dirty, without matte and other stronger effects. Why so? Well, because I plan to put Tiger on a diorama in the future, but I don't know exactly under what conditions, so I will leave myself room for maneuver. Another effect, splashes. I made them using a brush and toothpicks mainly on the lower parts of the vehicle. You have to be careful because it's easy to splash solidly through the whole model. Fortunately, oil paints are usually very easy to remove, so it's not a big deal. I got the mirrors a bit dirty and started assembling the last GAZ elements. Following the advice of one of you guys, for which I thank you very much, I decided to use steel pigments on the guns elements and tool steel parts. The effect is impressive. I mounted a grenade launcher and machine gun and then covered the model with matte varnish, paying attention to the Tiger's windows. After drying, I repainted the steel elements with pigment and finished the construction there. I know that I often say it on the channel that I'm doing something for the first time. This time is similar. This is my first vehicle model. I had a great time assembling this GAZ Tiger. I definitely recommend this model. MENG has a big plus. To sum up, I'm very pleased with the effect. It's also your share, guys, because I learned a lot from your comments. They are extremely helpful. Oil paints. I have no idea how on earth I've not used it before, because they give brilliant possibilities. Working with the oils is pure pleasure and the results that can be obtained are unbelievable. As I mentioned, GAZ will now be waiting for the diorama and I'm going back to the sea, to the scale from which my adventure with modeling began. After a break from, let's say, maritime themes, I'm already looking forward to starting construction. I hope you do too. Finally, thank you so much for being here. And if you are on the channel for the first time and you like what I'm doing, of course, please subscribe to my channel, click a thumbs up or leave a comment. It means a lot to me, it helps in the development and increase the channel ranges. Sorry for the long episode, thanks for sticking to the end. Hang on and see you soon. Bye.